Greetings, comrades. This is Andre Ades Desjardins for a Murders at Cullov Manor Play Booster Cracker Pack. Alright, this is my second one of these. I'm opening on stream, if I can get it open. Maybe. We got it open, boys. We did it. And girls. Sorry. So we got a goblin token in a mountain. Ooh, that's a nice looking goblin token. Actually, let's just take a moment and admire that goblin token. That's a nice looking goblin token. Alright, first up. Griffinock Tracker. 4 mana. Creature, human detective, flying 3/2 when it enters the battlefield. Exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. C. There's not a super graveyard theme in this set. You'll play a 3/2 flyer for 4. Detective's a relevant type. Next up, Dog Walker. Red and white for a 3/1 vigilance. He has disguise. And again, the disguise is hybrid, so you can play him in red, or white. When he's turn face up, create 2 tapped 1/1 white dog creature tokens. So you never get to ambush anything with the dogs. This is a card where it's like, I've even played it on turn 2, but you're much happier turning it up. Just getting the 2 dogs makes you much happier. It's leading the pack. Out of 2, it's leading. Next up, Rotform Mortipede. Whenever 1 or more creatures leaves the graveyard, Rotform Mortipede gets +1/+0, gains medicine, lifelink until end of turn. It's a 3/4 for 4. There are some ways to make creatures leave the graveyard. This seems like a lot of hoops to jump through. Though +1/+0 mass and lifelink is good, I'm going to give this a D. Like, the 3/4 for 4 is kind of below rate, and that's a lot to ask. Alright, pick your poison. It's a green sorcery. Choose one. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. I've heard people say you should run this main. I'm not necessarily on that. You will probably find a target for it. But like if the target's an artifact, it may just be a clue. Like it doesn't necessarily hit an important artifact. I more look to side it in when they have many creatures with flying. There's a few Thopters kicking around, so you don't want exactly it to hit a Thopter. Like that's a low value target too. Or an enchantment you want to hit. This is like a sideboard B-. Like you'll be happy to play it in the sideboard. I wouldn't recommend playing it main. Alright. Out Cold. 1 blue, 3 colorless. This spell can't be countered. This includes by the hexproof ability. They've hand-fisted this on a few commons in the set to make sure limited works, that you could still target the face-down disguise creatures with them. There's this and black removal spells that have it. Tap 2 target creatures and put a stun counter on each of them. Investigate. So, this has been done before at various cost. 3 mana, has drawn a card, has rebounded. It's fine if you're in a blue tempo deck, whatever that looks like in this format, you'll play it. It'll be like a C. Otherwise, it's a D. Even in control decks where it's like you can tap 2 of their creatures for a couple of turns, it generally doesn't work that well. Maybe the clue makes up for that a little bit, but I'm going to start with people like doing that to me and winning games before I start doing it. And remember, the test for that is like, because people are like, I would have won this game or I would have lost this game. It's like, but if you just had like a disguise creature, would that have done the same role this card did? Like, that's what you should think of when you're validating cards. It's like, what can this do that other cards really can't do? And yes, maybe there's some scenarios, and I might be wrong, but I generally start low on these cards like this. Alright. Ferocious Rage. Target creature gets +2/+0, gains haste till end of turn. When that creature dies, this turn create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token for 1 red. It's an instant. There was a card like this in Strixhaven. That was like make your mark on history. Its main use is to like trade up in combat and you're left with a little body behind. I think that's fair. but it's probably pretty interchangeable in terms of combat tricks. So this is like a D. I'll play it as a combat trick. It'll be fine. I'm not looking to first pick this, and it's pretty interchangeable. Alright. Suspicious Detonation. 1 red, 4 colorless sorcery. It costs 3 less to cast if you sacrifice an artifact this turn. Beyond clues, there are other ways to do this. It deals 4 damage to target creature. This and Dogwalker are winning this pack, but I still think this is just a C card. I mean, oftentimes it's, if you're doing the clue, it's still 4 mana for 4 damage, which, draw a card, just kind of create your own okay spell, and this is okay in itself, so I think it adds up to a C. But don't be embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed to play one of these or anything, though this has like the greatest diminishing returns. 4 damage is actually kind of tough, because there's a lot of 5 toughness creatures. Maybe this is a C-. Maybe I'm not as happy about this. Alright. It doesn't add up. 2 black, 3 colorless, instant. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Suspect it. So, instant speed, 5 mana reanimations can be Cs. They're a lot better when there's like big land cyclers or good self-mill, and there's not really any of this in the set. It's suspected, so it can't block. Giving it menace may be a good thing. I'm going to land on this as a C. I guess one of the advantages it could have is you can like face down a big creature, trade it off in theory, and then it doesn't add up. But I'm still going to give it a C. I would need to see like something very impressive. Like Fossilized became very impressive. And that's basically the only 5 mana spell that I've seen was very impressive. Fossilized had a lot more going for it, I think, than it doesn't add up. Alright. A Killer is Among Us. I love this card. When Killer is Among Us enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human creature token, a 1/1 blue merfolk creature token, and a 1/1 red goblin creature token. Then secretly choose human, merfolk, or goblin. Sacrifice a Killer is Among Us, reveal the chosen creature type. If target attacking creature token is the chosen type, put 3+1/+1 counters on it, and it gains a death touch until end of turn. So yes, you get to play this. You get to make 3 1/1s, and then you get to play roulette with your opponent. This card is super fun. I don't necessarily think it's super good. I think it's like again, it's a 5-drop. And then you like have to wait a turn to make the 4/4 death touch. That's a lot, right? Like, it's not doing that much. Super fun. And who do you think did it? Which one of these is the murderer? I think it's the merfolk. My money's on that merfolk. Looks very suspicious. Alright. Forensic Researcher. Blue, 2 colorless. A merfolk detective. 1/3. Tap it, untap another target permanent you control. So that can do a land. Or untap an attacking creature. And tap, collect evidence 3. Tap target creature you don't control. This is probably C+, actually. It blocks the face-down creatures without necessarily trading for them. And it can ramp you or do whatever. Probably a C+. Alright. Forum Familiar. It's a creature, cat. It's Disguise for a white and colorless. It's 1/1, and when it's turned face up, return another target permanent you control to its owner's hand. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Oof. Honestly, this is probably a lot weaker in this set than most sets, because most of the morph creatures are like more expensive to get their enter the battlefield effect. I mean, you can do it, that's fine. But like, you really don't want the 1/1 for 1. You really want to turn it face up. Even then, it's only a 2/2. Yeah, this is probably like a D. Like, I'm not looking to play this card, though that cat is loving that hand. Alright. Audience with Trostani. It's a green and 2 color sorcery. Create a 0/1 green plant creature token. and draw cards equal to the number of differently named creature tokens you control. I mean, in this pack, you got the Wombo combo. This is probably much more of a constructed card than a limited card. Yeah, there's not a lot of token trading. The face-down creatures are not tokens, so I really don't want to pay 3 mana to make an 0-1 and draw a card. Cool, very constructed, though. Wow, this pack is not good. Alright, are you going to make the difference? Probably not. Magnum Snuffer. 5 mana for an artifact construct. When it enters the battlefield, return an equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to it. There's like equipment clues, I guess you could attach to this. And whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Again, this has the 5-drop problem. I feel by the time you actually got one of the equipment clues in the graveyard to get some value from this, it's hard. Wow, this pack is weak. Weak. What are we considering here? The Detective and the Dog Walker? I'm gonna start with the Dog Walker, actually, over the Detective. Yeah, this pack was not great. Alright, everyone. This is Andre A. Desjardins signing off.